University and to the last meeting of the Texas A&M Faculty Senate. Thank you for all joining remotely today. I know some of you, myself included, would have liked an in-person option. However, we were not able to secure a room that we felt comfortable would adequately work in hybrid fashion. So perhaps it is fitting that we are all remote, as it is the most democratic way to meet given our multiple locations. I would also like to thank all of you who are joining via live stream, including, I hope, what are a few former speakers of the Faculty Senate. If you need a reminder of the Zoom features used in our Senate meetings, the Zoom tip sheet can be found on our website at the top of the current agenda page. At this time, please make sure your microphone is muted. Secretary Holliday will be monitoring the Zoom raise hands function. You will be called upon first before others in the room. She will verbally identify, then you can unmute your mic and ask your question. In fairness to others, please limit yourself to one question at a time. Secretary Holliday will also be monitoring the chat to convey messages as necessary. So please send any chat questions directly to her. We are using the registration function of Zoom to track attendance. Most visitors today have been asked to view the meeting via our live stream, but our guests and administrators who may be asked to answer questions are also joining us via Zoom. Visitors wishing to address the Senate may make this request by sending a chat message to Senator Holliday or by using the raised hands function. Finally, if a senator wishes to offer a motion during today's meeting, please raise your hand at the appropriate time and ask to be recognized. So we're going to move on to approval of our minutes. Are there any corrections to the August 11th, 2025 minutes found in attachment A? Hearing none, I declare the minutes approved as distributed. Moving on to the consent agenda. So, excuse me, I'm losing my voice. I believe it is important to highlight what we are doing today. Today, literally the last working day of the Senate, we are meeting at 3 p.m. to make curricular approvals to support our university and our students. I commend all of you for being here and doing this. Are there any questions or concerns on the August 29th consent agenda items? Wow. Hearing no questions or concerns, I declare the August 29th consent agenda as approved as presented. Core Curriculum Council report. Are there any questions or concerns on the Core Curriculum Council August report? Hearing none, I approve the report. Okay, so now on to the meat of our agenda. So you will notice that there are a couple emergency agenda items on our agenda today. We're going to get to those, but first I want to have a few speaker comments. I know these are going to be longer than usual, but I think under the circumstances, I hope you can understand. I'm going to share my screen for a few minutes.
Maybe because they're going to take this opportunity away from me and I won't get to do these anymore.
Can people see my screen?
Andrew, we do have a raised hand. Sally, are you okay taking a question, Andrew, or you want me
Sorry, that was a mistake. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Just wanted to make sure I'm on top of my job here.
We'll see about questions. There's probably very little I can answer at this point, I'll be honest. So I just want to take a few minutes to, let me pull sorry, I got too many screens up here. I just want to take a few minutes to talk a little bit about where we have been as a Senate and where we're going to go forward. So I think, oops, work for me. I think it's really important today that we think a little bit about what the philosophy that has underpinned the Senate for many years. You can read as well as I can, but we've had this as part of our Constitution for a long time. A university, excuse me, darn it, I'm losing my voice. A university's foundation is its faculty. Therein lies the knowledge, the commitment to learning, and the source of constructive progress upon which universities rest. The interest of students, scholarship, and society are best served when the faculty brings its special talents to bear through cooperative participation in the governance of our university. So just remember that's what we have been about. That has been incorporated in the mission of our faculty senate. And I hope that when you look at those bullets, that none of those missions should change going forward. So I just wanted to put this slide up. It was one of a number of things that I and the executive committee created to try to use for people to explain who we are, what we do, and the amount of work we do. So this is the faculty senate as it was this year. We had 122 senators that were apportioned among 18 units. That included our libraries, the Galveston and the Cutter campuses. And as you can see, kind of at the bold at the bottom, our best estimate, we think this is an underestimate, is that collectively during the last year, the senators, we as senators, have collectively devoted approximately 174 weeks of service to the university and what it does. I think that's a lot of work, and you should all be commended for that. You can also see just an idea of the committees that we have had in the past. And the brackets below it kind of our best estimates, again, of how much time you put into all these work as individual senators. I think it's important to understand that the Faculty Senate has been represented widely in university standard operating procedures or administrative procedures. And this is just a list of the ones that we have been involved in. And I think over time, the most important ones probably are the faculty participation in the selection, evaluation, and retention of deans, department heads, the provost, etc. So that those just understand that we are embedded in how the university has operated. We did a lot of work last year. The takeaway slide on this is that we considered 1,572 different curricular items for approval for the president. And I think if you've been in cars, you know how long many of those items are. So this is a substantial amount of work that we have done in.
Hi. Can I have a tall black coffee?
Troy, can you mute, please? So we have done a lot of work for the university. And that effort is not going to decrease just because the Senate changes his name. The other thing that all y'all have done is you've had service on a lot of non-Senate committees. And this is probably definitely an underestimate. And the ones that are just listed are just a selection. So just understand that you have served not only the Senate on Senate committees, but all sorts of important advisory roles across the university. So I just wanted to take a few minutes to highlight what we've done. So everyone should have gotten the email that went out, and I made a mistake. The Faculty Advisory Council, as it's going to be named going forward, will start on November 1st, not tomorrow, though the Senate still will cease to exist on September 1st. So just a few things, because I think these are the points that people are going to be the most concerned about the Faculty Advisory Committee. So first of all, and I thought I got rid of all the word senators. I apologize for that. Members must be faculty. So for us, the important loss is going to be our librarians. The other thing that we just found out finally yesterday, so I apologize, couldn't say this earlier, is that except as otherwise noted, and it has been affirmed, is that our Senate size will not exceed, pardon me, the Faculty Advisory Council size will not exceed 60 members. And I have a slide in a few minutes that will show the impact of that. There will be two representatives, a minimum of two representatives from each of our units, which are going to be departments and schools that have academic programs. If you took time to read the draft that's also out there. One member is going to be appointed by the president or chief executive officer. The remaining members are going to be elected by a vote of the faculty of that representative school or college. So here's where it gets a little confusing. A member that has been elected by a vote of the faculty will serve a 2-year term. At the beginning, we're going to stagger these. So about half are going to start with a 1-year term. The other are going to start with a 2-year term. After you serve for 2 years, or 1 year in this case, you may not be reelected until the second anniversary of the last day of your most recent term. So basically that says that the elected members can serve for 2 years and then will have to step off for 2 years. A member appointed by the president or chief executive officer may serve up to 6 consecutive 1-year terms and then may only be reappointed again after a 2-year hiatus. So that's an important change in how the faculty advisory will operate. The last thing is that the president will be the one who appoints the presiding officer, associate presiding officer, and secretary. So there's a number of other changes that were caused by Senate Bill 37, as well as some of the things that are in the new system rule, but those are the main ones. So I think this is probably the thing that people are going to be most interested in. So what I have attempted to do, and I'm going to tell you the caveats in this, is to compare what our existing Senate looks like, which is the slide, the graphic on the left, with what our estimates of what the new 60-seat advisory council will look like in terms of its representation across the units. Now I'm going to give a couple caveats here. These numbers in the model that I used only include full-time FTEs because we didn't have enough information on what the proportionate time we should give for every individual part-time faculty member. But that, if the rule as it's proposed goes into effect, part-time faculty will also be considered in the apportionment process. The next thing you'll notice is the units have changed. Again, there is no library in the future advisory council, nor is there the Galveston and Cutter campuses, though the Galveston faculty are now going to be largely represented by the new College of Marine Science and Maritime Studies. I hope I got that right. It's the new MS on there. But what we will have is, if you can see the number of seats, it's a much smaller Senate. About, I believe, 10 of the colleges under this model have only 2 representatives. 1 representative that is elected and 1 representative that's appointed. A number of other colleges have 3 representatives, and it's only our larger colleges of agriculture and life sciences, art sci, and College of Engineering that have more than 3 or 4. That is what we're looking at in the future, and I just wanted everyone to be aware of that. The one thing that this means, if you look at the draft of the rule for the new Faculty Advisory Council, is that rather than having a place system, it's been proposed we'll move to just a ranked choice voting for all seats at once. It simplifies things and there's not going to be nearly as many senators serving. So that is what we think will look like at the unit level. Parliamentarian, are you there, Dale?
Yes, I am.
Do you think it would be appropriate to take questions at this time?
You can certainly do that. Yes.
Okay, so I think I will try to take the questions that may be here at this time. So if anybody does, please have raise your hand, and Secretary Holliday will No.
Andrew, we did have, and I'd like to recognize Wendy. Wendy had put something in the chat that she wanted. Wendy, did you want me to read the chat, or would you like to? I think it's a sentiment that all of us feel. So Wendy, if you would like to.
I would be happy to. I just actually wanted to take a moment to go on record and express my deep appreciation for everything that Speaker Klein has done for the faculty in his position as Speaker and Faculty Senator. I think his advocacy and heartfelt commitment for our university is really commendable. And just thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
I think if we were all in session, there might be a standing ovation, Andrew. So yes. I would like to call on Julio.
Yes, so very briefly, I'm a bit lost here. So what the current Senate or the past Senate was, what is the size of that was compared to obviously the 60 members that we will have moving forward?
We had 122 senators in our current Senate, so it's
Okay, so cut by half.
roughly half. Yes.
Thank you.
David, I would like to call on you.
I just wanted to note that since this meeting started, and as is currently, we have a number in attendance that is much larger than 60, even if you were to remove all the non-senators on the list. And as often, we often had, much more than 60 in attendance at our Faculty Senate meetings.
Absolutely should be noted. Angie?
One of the questions that was in the chat was about expected to know when the members will be appointed and how the elections will be held. And I think there is some information in the rule about how elections are proposed to be held in the proposed rule that we're not sure we'll be able to get approved. So Speaker Klein, could you talk about that?
So yes, so the rule has what we would like to see. And so would you like me to take the elected or the appointed part first? Former Speaker Price.
I think, well, I mean, I think part of the issue is that the answer is we don't know, right? Because it depends on the administration just learned this yesterday, and we don't have a rule that I mean, there's a draft rule, but we don't know what it's going to be. So I think part of the answer is we generally don't know, and it's possibly the time frame is the bigger question. We don't know.
Okay, so let me try to address that the best I know. And I'm going to apologize up front that it was impossible to kind of convey more information to this body during the summer for a variety of reasons. But this is where we are. So the university is working to put a transition team in place to have the Faculty Advisory Council ready to go on November 1st. I think that's the hope. I have recommended that it include the current executive committee and parliamentarian as part of this transition team. Again, that's what's been recommended. Whether it will be able to happen, I don't know. Best I can say is the next step will probably appears to be the approval of a university rule for the Faculty Advisory Council. That is informational item number 1. The final draft literally arrived to us this afternoon, so you got it as pretty much as it came off the press. It is like any rule that will happen, it will go through the rules process, which has traditionally been that the rule gets sent to the Faculty Senate for dissemination and getting feedback from the faculty. I've conveyed the fact that this is a really important rule to the faculty, and we should distribute it and should be distributed widely by whoever can distribute it. And I've also encouraged consideration of a number of faculty forums where people can express their opinion. So there's going to be a better time and place to talk about the details of the rule since we've just all seen it, but people will have time and a place to comment. So rest assured that will happen. But it also needs to be aware that, like any rule, this also has to go through the Office of General Counsel, other stakeholders, deans, administration, as well as the system. So this is a draft rule that we are allowed to have input into. It's my hope after the rule is approved that a group can begin elections for the Senate. The other thing that is afoot is to create some interim curriculum committees, including a core curriculum committee, so all the people on core curriculum don't think you're out of your work now, to ensure that our curricular approval processes can move forward so we're not hit with a backlog or of things to do in November, December, etc. So I think that's about the extent of things that I can answer in what is going forward in general. So with that said, are there other questions?
I'd like to call up on Brittany. I know you had something in the chat I was going to bring up, but absolutely, please.
Yeah, thank you. I do want to recognize Senator Klein and our former speakers who have done such a great job in advocating for us as a faculty senate. I know you guys have had a lot of work behind you, but over here in Qatar, where it is pretty late, we are still very much part of main campus. So my question that you saw in the chat is, what happens to us? Are we still going to remain part of the new FAC? Or are we going to create our own? Do you know?
So what I will believe will happen is your senators will go and be part of the colleges that you are part of. So there we cannot have campuses. So I presume you will be distributed through the College of Arts and Sciences and Engineering, depending on where the best fit is. And that's another thing that's not in the modeling, because there's no way when I was doing this, I could figure out where the senators from Qatar would go in the new position. But you will definitely have an ability to be represented. It's just not by a campus. And the same thing goes to all our colleagues in McAllen, as well as the engineering faculty, I guess, at the Galveston campus. So we are increasing in our complexity as we're going forward too.
Katarina.
Hi, thanks. I'm having a hard time holding it together. I'm kind of sad. Thanks, Andrew, and everyone for your time and effort on this. Should I just delete all the committees that I sit on that are on my calendar right now? As I'm a faculty representative on lots of different things, and it would be wonderful to have so much time freed up. Should I just delete them?
No. So
Why not?
no. Look, so no, it's in it. No. So in seriousness, we got to get through a transition period, but more importantly, we have to recognize that just because the faculty senate doesn't exist in the name, there's going to be something else coming along, but the work does not stop. So one of the things the new faculty advisory council is going to have to figure out is it can't do with 60 people, you can't do everything that you can with 120 people. So those are going to be some of the hard discussions that the people who are part of that new council will have to deal with. But the answer is that faculty positions on all these committees are going to continue. And I would imagine that the Faculty Advisory Council will be the one going forward that makes those decisions of who should go on those, or at least make the recommendations of who should go on those. So no, Katrina, you can't take yours off, and maybe we should add a few more to them.
I'd like to recognize Julio.
Yes, thank you. About the appointed members, is there clarity on how they will be appointed and what the ratio is of those 60?
So the last slide I showed, one of the bars was appointed, the others were elected. At least one member from every college will be appointed.
Right, so what does that mean? Like, I don't know how many colleges we have. I'm sorry.
So I think it's 8 if I remember correctly. I think it might be 18, but I might be wrong on
60,
that.
okay.
So I think if I calculated it correctly, and I apologize, this is trying to remember from a couple days ago. I think in essence, we have 34 elected seats in the new Senate.
Okay.
I think that's how it worked out. But
And
don't
the
hold me to that.
ratio, I mean, the mechanism, how they will be appointed?
So that's all to be determined, but I presume the appointment will be the same as we've been done before, which is using the U.S. House of Representatives appointment.
No, I mean the designated members.
So the important thing to remember sorry, I get out. So what everybody has to remember is the president is the one who appoints it. I
Okay,
think
so it's the president.
what I hope will happen, and I would encourage the administration to consider this, is to take under meaningful advisement a list of people that the Senate would feel would represent, the Faculty Advisory Council would feel represent them well within an individual unit, as well as a slate of candidates for the leadership. But there's nothing that this body can do that binds the president to any decision. And the president may very well feel that he needs to get input from other stakeholders like deans, et cetera. That is well within his purview.
All right, thank you, Andrew.
Thank you all for great questions. Hank, I would like to call up on you next.
Yeah, so the college GICs, the graduate professional counselors, still going to be chugging along with course approvals and stuff. So what is going to happen to them after the graduate and professional council in the meantime?
So this is a guess, Hank, but I think the plan is to have some sort of faculty group that represents every college be kind of serving the function that we did in the couple months intervening between now and when the Faculty Advisory Council would get set up.
Okay.
I'm not the one who can, I believe that's part of the conversation, but I think the important thing to remember and take away is that the administration is going to do all they can do to make sure that the curricular processes aren't hung up. Does that answer your question, Hank?
Yeah. I just didn't know if we just skipped this Senate step for a few months or what exactly. So,
No,
all right.
I think that's what at least is being discussed. I don't know what the end result will be, but hopefully no.
All right. Thanks.
Adam, I would like to call on you next.
Yeah, thank you. So I noticed in the proposed rule that for the appointed, the presidentially appointed members of the council, it says that while the president is not obligated to select a faculty member put forward by a college or school, the faculty of each college or school may provide a list of faculty for consideration by the president. So, are there any ideas as how that's going to work exactly? That where the college faculty put forward the people that they would like to see appointed?
So Adam, I think the answer is that is one of those things that faculty should be thinking about and taking up and bringing up as part of the discussions when this rule has longer time to be feedback given. The answer is what you see is kind of what's in there now that may or may not necessarily be what is in what goes forward. So it's a thing that faculty should talk about and make suggestions.
I mean, it seems like there would be nothing stopping an individual faculty member in a college out of his own initiative taking a poll of his colleagues and then sending the results of the poll to the president. Say, hey, this is who our colleagues want. Of course, you can feel free to appoint whoever you want, but this is what the faculty want. Right? That's
again, Adam, I think at this time it would be appropriate for you to talk to your faculty colleagues and make suggestions as part of the process for revising the rule. It's
Okay.
that's just where we are. We're not finalized by any stretch of the imagination.
Okay, thank you.
Julio, did you have another question? I don't see anybody else's hands raised or in the chat, but
Sorry, I forgot to lower my hand.
very good. Thank you. Any,
So-
anybody else?
Shelley, did we get all the questions answered in the chat?
I believe so. There were comments. I know, Angie, I believe you were just replying to certain, oh, Wendy has another one, I believe. Wendy and then Hank. Let's see, Wendy. I can read Wendy's as well. Is there any discussion about the appointed council members being tenured versus APT?
No, but one of the good things about Senate Bill 37, one of the important changes they made was that both APT and tenure track faculty can serve as senators. So everything in the document is quiet on that point.
Hank, I would like to call you.
Yes, I was noticing in discussion of the caucuses that like 6.8.2, it says, you elect a caucus leader, but then the next clause is the caucus leader for each college shall be a member of their respective college or school's dean's leadership team. And so the question I have is it the person that becomes the caucus leader becomes a member of the leadership team, or is it the caucus leader must already be a member of the leadership team? Because currently the caucus leader is not really a member of the leadership team, at least in engineering. They organize regular meetings with dean or executive associate dean, but you wouldn't, as a dean, I wouldn't call them a member of their leadership team.
So Hank, I don't have a good answer for that. It's one of those things I think that could be discussed, but I think if I was a faculty senator, I would take this to be an indication that the dean should be including his faculty caucus on his or her leadership team. So I would take this as an opportunity for deans to include their faculty.
All right, thanks.
Andrew, I think Angie had a good point also. Those are questions that we need to bring up when the rule comes up for feedback as well. So Hank, keep that one at the ready. And Brittany has asked, how do we provide feedback?
I would think that's probably going to be in the TBD one. I mean, I'm happy to I think we can get what's been posted here collected, and you can certainly send things to me and I can aggregate them, but I'm fairly certain there will be a robust opportunity and mechanism to provide feedback for this rule.
David.
Actually, related to that, I mean, I'm pretty certain Brittany was asking about feedback on the rule, but let's just take a step back and think about the things that are truly important about the Senate. One thing that I've learned in the last 3 years as a senator is that if there's a problem on campus and I know about that problem and I come to the Senate and I talk about it, then it can get eyes on it and get fixed. And I don't know without the Senate, and I don't even know if in the future this advisory group really will provide a replacement for that. So where are we supposed to go to when we have a problem and we don't know who to send that problem to?
So
And
David,
maybe that's not something we've an answer for, but that's just
no, I presume that role would be from that body. And I think one of the things that we can do, and I might have some comments for this a little bit later, is it's up to us to do that, right? Both as potentially people who would serve on that body, but also as faculty to require that body to be our voice. So, I mean, it's to some extent, it's going to be what we make of it. And by that, I mean the collective voice of the faculty. But I don't see any reason why it wouldn't have that. I mean, we can argue about the appointed versus elected. We can argue about the name change, but we have but I think we should assume that it will be the representative advisory voice of all the faculty members. And I know that's just what I would say is going forward. And Angie, as Senator Hill Price put in there, I think you could still have a committee of the whole that would serve that function. And one of the requirements from Senate Bill 37 is what we've already done, which is live stream and have our meetings public. So that role is the one that I would see is not going to change much at all. I mean, as the number of senators gets smaller, it's harder to necessarily get all the input that we got before and have as wide of way of voices in the Senate, but it certainly shouldn't lessen its voice to be a way to bring concerns to the attention of our administration. That's a long answer, but I think it's what I would give.
I think perhaps the best answer that can be provided at the moment.
I do not see any more hands raised, and I think I got all comments and questions from the chat.
So there's two more things. I have some comments I want to read now. And then, excuse me, we're going to bring a resolution forward for us to consider. So those are the last two things we're going to do. So excuse me, I've been talking a lot the last couple of days. While I normally do not like long oratories, I think a few words are appropriate to frame this moment in the continuing history of the Texas A&M Faculty Senate / Faculty Advisory Council. While the future of the Senate may not look exactly as we would like it, we find ourselves in a better place than many other university systems across the state. It has been a long, uncertain summer, and I wish I could have provided this body with more clarity. However, until this morning, the university had not even seen the final version of the system rule, which I shared with you by email. And I also apologize for incorrectly stating in the email that went out to current senators that the new Faculty Advisory Council would begin on September 1st. It will actually start on November 1st. I think it's important to remember, as was clearly stated by Dr. James Hallmark at this week's Board of Regents meeting, the role of the faculty senates in the Texas A&M system has always been advisory. In that sense, the changes that have been brought on by Senate Bill 37, as well as the other ones that our board just has put in, do not fundamentally change that role of a future faculty advisory body. I would like to acknowledge our Board of Regents for voting to continue a faculty advisory body in the A&M system in a manner that will help us minimize the disruptions to our support of the university's academic mission. It was not the choice that all other university systems in the state have made. Second, I would like to thank our chancellor for his public statements this summer about continuing faculty senates. Excuse me. Sorry. I am sure some of us took solace in them. I would encourage the system to continue its modest financial support to the Texas A&M Faculty Assembly and to the Texas Council of Faculty Senates, both of which enable faculty leadership at all system universities to interact with their peers from other public universities. There is a strong return on investment in terms of faculty leadership, better understanding the issues facing higher education in the state, and building connections with system leadership, which I believe have helped us reduce friction between the system and its senates. I personally want to thank James Hallmark for his guidance this summer and for his long-term investment in meeting with faculty leadership across the system. And for those of you who don't know, during the meetings, we meet with him now once in the fall as all the system assemblies, and we've always met with him twice every year. And that has been really important, and I hope it continues. Lastly, I would like to thank our president, his leadership team, the SB 37 and Faculty Senate implementation team for their efforts in supporting the Senate. It is important that this body understands that the administration appreciates the service we have performed for the university and the students, and the work, and they have done work to help inform people about who we are, what we do, and the amount of service that we have provided to Texas A&M University. I personally want to thank Joe Pettibon for his time, effort, and guidance in helping the Senate and myself address the impacts of Senate Bill 37. And sometimes I've learned I always knew this, but I've learned it even more. When Joe says something, you should listen because he's probably right. So following yesterday's vote of the Board of Regents, we, the faculty of Texas A&M University, its future elected and appointed members, have provided the opportunity to write the next chapter in the history of this body. And we need to take advantage of that. Like the Aggies we teach, change can be difficult, even for faculty. But whether we agree with the mandated changes to the newly named Faculty Advisory Committee or not, I believe it is in the best interest of our university, and mostly importantly to our students, that we choose to continue the work of this body. Therefore, I challenge both the faculty and university leadership to take this opportunity to practice what we preach and engage in true shared governance to work together to create the formal rules, practices, and most importantly, norms to ensure the continuity of a faculty advisory body that is capable of representing all faculty at this extraordinary institution. We have the advantage that currently the working relationship between the faculty and administration is remarkably good. I would say, in fact, probably among the best I've ever experienced in my 26 years here at Texas A&M. And the trust that the faculty has in the administration is important. And I think we're at a point where we can work together successfully to transition into the new Faculty Advisory Council quickly with a minimum disruption to our academic progress so we don't impede the success of our students. While this body has always been advisory, the changes brought on by Senate Bill 37 will make it more challenging for a future advisory council to effectively serve in its advisory role. Faculty are going to undoubtedly be more skeptical about the ability of a body to vocally voice their concerns as a portion of the body and its leadership will be appointed. And also members can be removed from its service. So it is up to the future elected and appointed members of the Faculty Advisory Committee to not be afraid to speak up, and for the faculty to hold them to those responsibilities. To be honest, the legitimacy of any this new body in both the eyes of the faculty and in the administration, the legitimacy of the new body in the eyes of the faculty and how it is perceived by the administration will be determined largely by how it conducts itself. And it's up to the faculty to hold it to high standards. Now to the administrators. Administrators may feel more at liberty to view the advice given by this body as something they can more easily ignore. I would strongly encourage you not to. Some of the events that have occurred in the university's recent history, I hope should inform future administrations of some of the perils of failing to adequately consider the opinion of faculty in making major decisions. I also speak from experience when I say that sometimes the Faculty Senate has been the conveyor of opinions that deans and others who are appointed by upper administration are afraid to voice. This body has been and always will be advisory, and we just ask that the advice of this body continues to be taken seriously, and perhaps don't shoot the messenger. I would like to conclude by saying I hope all faculty and all senators attending this meeting commit to remain engaged in shared governance at the institution in a manner of their choosing. For those interested in continuing service in the Faculty Advisory Board, please consider putting yourself up for election when we have the chance. Finally, I thank each and every one of you for your service to Texas A&M. It has been an honor serving with all of you. So that's the end of my comments. the next thing on the agenda is a resolution. And after discussion with the EC and our parliamentarian Dale Rice, we thought it would be good to finish this last session of the Texas A&M Faculty Senate on a positive of note as we could. We are indebted to our parliamentarian for coming up with this idea and crafting this resolution. Therefore, Secretary Holliday, would you please read the resolution to the Senate?
Yes, I do not have that pulled up. 1 second. Andrew, did it come from you? Sorry, I've been in
Yes.
class all afternoon.
It's in the speaker script. Or Brittany just put it into the chat too.
Thank you, Brittany. Here we go. Resolution recognizing the value of shared governance at Texas A&M University. Whereas the faculty of Texas A&M University have played and continue to play an immeasurable vital role in the education, growth, and development of our students. And whereas more than 40 years of shared governance have made our AAU A1 Research University a stronger and more respected institution. And whereas continued efforts to keep Texas A&M University at the forefront of teaching and research will require meaningful faculty involvement at all levels to be successful. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Faculty Senate of Texas A&M University, in its last act as a fully elected representative body, extends its gratitude to President Welsh, his leadership team, deans, and department heads for their past commitment to shared governance. And be it further resolved that the Senate calls upon the aforementioned administrators to join faculty in searching for new ways to increase and improve that commitment in a challenging time for higher education, including a campus-wide forum on the future of shared governance with the aim of preserving Texas A&M University's reputation for academic excellence and educational leadership.
Do I have a motion to accept this resolution?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Anything, Speaker, Secretary Holliday? Okay. All in favor, please raise your hand. How are we doing?
I think we, as far as I can tell, I think we're pretty unanimous. Some hands have already gone down, but yes.
Please put your hands down. Still have a few up. All opposed? Please raise your hand.
No hands are raised at this time.
The resolution has been approved. So I thank each and every one of you for your service to the Senate and to Texas A&M University. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Okay.
Thank you, Andrew.
It has been moved and seconded to adjourn the meeting. Will all in favor of adjourning signify by saying aye?
Aye.
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 Aye. Thank you, Andrew.
Aye.
Thanks.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Andrew.
Thank you, Andrew.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Andrew.
Thank you, Andrew. Well, all
Thank you, Andrew.
opposed. Oh, sorry. All opposed to adjourning signify by saying no. Well, it's Friday afternoon. I hereby declare this special meeting of the 43rd session of the Faculty Senate of Texas A&M University adjourned. And if anybody wants, I'm going to be a rough draft.
Well done, Andrew. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, Kelly, can you cut the live stream?
I'm on it.
Thanks, Andrew.
Thanks, everyone. Okay. Can you cut the meeting?